China has issued a powerful diplomatic signal, throwing its full support behind Somalia's sovereignty and territorial integrity after Israel recognized the breakaway region of Somaliland.
Israel's official recognition of Somaliland.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held a phone call with his Somali counterpart on Sunday, reaffirming Beijing's backing of Mogadishu at a moment of rising regional tension. In a statement released by China's foreign ministry, Beijing openly opposed what it called Somaliland's collusion with Taiwan authorities in seeking independence. During a phone call with his Somali counterpart, Abdisalam Dhaay, Long said that China and Somalia share a long-standing friendship and that Beijing firmly adheres to a friendly policy towards Somalia. He also added that China remains committed to deepening cooperation with Somalia in economic, security, and defense fields, regardless of changes in the international landscape. Somali Foreign Minister Dhaay thanked Wang for China's support in helping Somalia defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity, oppose all forms of separatism and terrorism, and advance national stability and development. The diplomatic backing comes as Wang Yi postponed a planned visit to Somalia during his Africa tour. His trip would have marked the first visit by a Chinese foreign minister to Somalia since the 1980s. The delay comes at a sensitive moment. On December 26th, Israel became the first country to formally recognize the breakaway Republic of Somaliland, a move that has sent shockwaves across the Horn of Africa. Mogadishu had expected a diplomatic boost from Wang Yi's visit, especially as Somalia faces growing international pressure and shifting alliances. Interestingly, on December 15, 2025, China and Somalia celebrated their 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations. Somalia was the first East African nation to establish ties with China. The Horn of African nation has cultivated a friendship built on mutual respect, shared aspirations, and enduring historical connections. In 2024, Chinese President Xi Jinping met with Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud in Beijing during the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit. The two leaders jointly announced the elevation of China-Somalia relations to a strategic partnership, marking a historic deepening of political trust and future cooperation. President Xi emphasized that both countries shoulder the historic mission of achieving complete national unity. He reaffirmed China's support for Somalia's sovereignty, territorial integrity, peace process, and national reconstruction. Somalia's ties with Washington are also under strain after the United States announced it would pause assistance benefiting the Somali government following a dispute over the demolition of a World Food Program warehouse. As U.S. influence shows signs of friction and Israel redraws regional lines, China is moving swiftly to expand its role, stepping into a geopolitical vacuum that could reshape the balance of power across the Horn of Africa. China is seeking a bigger role as Israel played a big geopolitical maneuver that poised to change the international landscape.
Following Israel's recognition of Somaliland, new evidence suggests the United Arab Emirates has also quietly taken the same step without a public declaration. On the UAE's official visa platform, Somaliland passports and documents are now accepted. At the same time, Somali passport holders are barred from obtaining UAE visas. This comes as Abu Dhabi declined to join a joint Arab-Islamic statement condemning Israel's recognition of Somaliland, a statement signed by 21 countries, including Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, and Iran. According to regional and Israeli media reports, the decision was deliberate, tied to the UAE's long-standing strategic relationship with Somaliland, a self-declared state that broke away from Somalia in the 1990s but remains unrecognized by the United Nations. Since 2017, the UAE has operated a military base in Berbera, a coastal city on the Gulf of Aden, one of the world's most strategic maritime corridors. The base purportedly includes a 4-kilometer runway capable of handling heavy and combat aircraft alongside a deep-water port under construction. Together, they form a foothold overlooking shipping lanes linking the Red Sea, the Suez Canal, and the Indian Ocean. At the same time, Abu Dhabi has pursued a dual-track strategy, quietly deepening ties with Somaliland while maintaining official engagement with Somalia's internationally recognized government through high-level diplomatic visits focused on cooperation, development, and regional stability. This balancing act has allowed the UAE to expand influence while avoiding a formal rupture with Mogadishu. But Israel's recognition of Somaliland appears to have accelerated the moment. By refusing to condemn Israel, by accepting Somaliland passports, and by shutting out Somali travelers, the UAE's position is becoming clearer, even if it remains officially unspoken. In a region where recognition can redraw borders, reshape alliances, and spark diplomatic crises, silence itself has become a strategy. And in the Horn of Africa, a quiet recognition may now be louder than any declaration.
A new geopolitical fault line is cracking open in the Horn of Africa, and the shockwaves are rippling far beyond the region. Israel's decision to formally recognize Somaliland, a breakaway region of Somalia, has ignited fierce backlash across the Arab world, Africa, and major global powers. And now, Hamas is issuing a blistering warning. In a sharply worded statement, the Islamic resistance movement condemned the move as a dangerous precedent, accusing Israel of seeking false legitimacy through what it called a separatist administration. Hamas rejected any plan, categorically, to use Somaliland as a destination for Palestinians from Gaza, warning that forced displacement would be met with resistance. The group accused Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government of acting out of international isolation, calling the recognition an act born from what it described as mounting global rejection over the war in Gaza. And Hamas is not alone. Qatar has also stepped in, issuing an unequivocal rejection of the recognition deal. Doha warned that the move violates international law, undermines Somalia's sovereignty, and threatens regional stability. Qatar's foreign ministry said Israel should recognize the state of Palestine instead and work to end the war in Gaza, rather than pursue what it called reckless and destabilizing policies. From Beijing, an even broader alarm. China has sharply criticized Israel's recognition of Somaliland, warning it could destabilize the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, and one of the world's most sensitive maritime corridors. Chinese officials fear the move could pave the way for military, intelligence, and surveillance expansion, and possibly serve as a platform for relocating Palestinians from Gaza. Beijing has made its position clear. Gaza is Palestinian land, non-negotiable, and any forced displacement would be a grave violation of international law. Africa's regional bodies have now weighed in. The African Union, IGAD, and Somalia's federal government all rejected Israel's move, reaffirming that Somaliland remains an integral part of Somalia's sovereign territory. Somalia's information minister called the recognition an unlawful attack on sovereignty warning it could inflame instability across the Horn of Africa, the Red Sea, and the wider Middle East, even creating openings for extremist groups. In Hargeisa, Somaliland's capital, the tone is very different. Somaliland's president hailed Israel's decision as historic, calling it the first formal international recognition after more than 30 years of self-rule. He insists recognition is not an act of hostility, not a threat, and not a source of regional tension.
Today, I am speaking to all of you at what is truly a moment of great historic significance for our nation, the Republic of Somaliland. For over 3 decades, Somaliland has maintained peaceful self-governance, a stable constitutional order, and robust democratic practices. Now it has finally achieved its first formal international recognition, acknowledging its status as a truly sovereign and independent state. This significant development simply affirms an objective reality that has long been established and evident to all. Somaliland fulfills all the necessary legal, political, and institutional requirements for achieving statehood status as defined by international law. I want to convey my most sincere and profound appreciation to the esteemed State of Israel for the courageous decision it has recently made, a decision that truly reflects its extensive historical continuity and also its unwavering confidence in Somaliland's clearly demonstrated commitment to the principles of peace, long-term stability, and truly responsible governance. We wish to provide a clear and unequivocal assurance that the recognition of Somaliland as an independent entity is in no way directed against any sovereign state, nor does it present any form of threat to the broader peace and stability of the entire region. On the contrary, we firmly believe that a clear and well-defined status for Somaliland significantly contributes to overall regional stability. Granting formal recognition to Somaliland would be a crucial step that significantly strengthens regional cooperation among nations. This action would also enhance overall security and actively support deeper economic integration across the entire Horn of Africa and the strategically vital Red Sea region. As two fully sovereign and respected neighbours, Somaliland and Somalia could then operate far more effectively together, fostering lasting peace, expanding trade opportunities, ensuring mutual security, and driving comprehensive regional development for all. To all our valued regional partners, to our neighboring countries, and to the broader international community, we want to make it absolutely clear to you that the recognition of Somaliland should not be perceived as any kind of threat, nor as an act of hostility, and certainly not as a source of regional tension or instability. To all our esteemed partners within the Arab and Muslim world, we want to make it unequivocally clear that Somaliland stands as a proud Muslim nation, deeply and firmly rooted in the timeless Islamic values of moderation, justice, and peaceful coexistence. Our foreign policy in all its aspects is consistently guided by principles of balance, mutual respect, and unwavering adherence to established international norms. To the United Nations, African Union, IGAD member countries, the League of Arab States, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and the Commonwealth and international partners, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to upholding international law and fostering peace and stability. Somaliland is fully prepared to be admitted as a full member into all international and regional organizations and to fully undertake and meet the responsibilities and obligations that such membership naturally entails.
The Federal Republic of Somalia reaffirms its absolute and non-negotiable commitment to its sovereignty, national unity, and territorial integrity, as enshrined in the Provisional Constitution of the Federal Republic of Somalia, the Charter of the United Nations, and the Constitutive Act of the African Union. The federal government of Somalia wishes to state in the strongest possible terms its categorical and unequivocal rejection of what it views as a deliberate attack on its national sovereignty. This includes the unlawful and unacceptable step taken by Israel, which purports to recognize the northern region of Somalia. Let it be clear, the Somaliland region remains an integral, inseparable, and inalienable part of the sovereign territory of the Federal Republic of Somalia. The federal government explicitly underscores that Somalia is a single, indivisible, and fully sovereign state, and that no external actor possesses the authority or legal standing to alter its unity or territorial configuration. Any declaration, recognition, or arrangement whatsoever that seeks to undermine this fundamental reality is null and void and entirely without any legal or political effect under international law. All matters pertaining to Somalia's unity, its governance, and its constitutional order are and will remain the exclusive prerogative of the Somali people. These issues must be resolved solely through lawful, constitutional, and peaceful means. Somalia once again affirms its principled and unwavering commitment to upholding the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people. This includes their fundamental right to self-determination. Furthermore, Somalia expresses its resolute and unequivocal rejection of all forms of occupation, forced displacement, demographic engineering, and the expansion of settlements in all their manifestations. In this regard, Somalia will never, under any circumstances, accept to make the Palestinian people stateless. Somalia makes it unequivocally clear that it will not permit the establishment of any foreign military bases or any other strategic arrangements on its sovereign territory that could potentially draw Somalia into proxy conflicts or import regional and international hostilities and tensions into this peaceful region. The federal government of Somalia warns that illegitimate actions of this nature seriously undermine regional peace and stability, exacerbate political and security tensions in the Horn of Africa, the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Aden, the Middle East, and the wider region. Such actions are in direct contravention of the collective responsibilities incumbent upon all states in the fight against terrorism, specifically including groups like Al-Shabaab and ISIS. They also run the serious risk of creating conditions that enable terrorist organizations to exploit political instability and furthermore undermine all ongoing efforts towards achieving peace and security. Somalia remains committed to constructive and principled engagement with the international community based on mutual respect, strict adherence to international legality, and regional cooperation. In this regard, the federal government unequivocally reaffirms its unwavering determination to actively pursue and implement all essential diplomatic, political, and legal measures in strict accordance with established international law to steadfastly defend its territorial sovereignty, its national unity, and its internationally recognized borders. The federal government of Somalia urges its citizens to stay united, vigilant, and resolute in defending the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Finally, the Federal Republic of Somalia earnestly calls upon all member states and our international partners to fully respect international law, to uphold the fundamental principles of non-interference and territorial integrity, and to act responsibly in the vital interest of regional peace, stability, and security throughout the entire Horn of Africa region.
But critics remain unconvinced. They warn this recognition could redraw geopolitical lines, fuel regional rivalries, and entangle Africa in the fallout of the Gaza war. From Hamas to Qatar to China to Africa's governing bodies, the message is increasingly clear. What Israel calls diplomacy, others are calling a dangerous gamble.